Now let's apply the formula sheet. Let's look at some examples. A rectangular prism is shown. What is the surface area of the prism? So I see the picture, but they've also told me that it's called a rectangular prism. Let's take a look back at our formula sheet and recall that this is the rectangular prism. They asked for surface area, so I'm going to look at that formula. Let's go ahead and write down that formula back on our paper. So I'm going to write surface area, SA, equals, and the formula they show me on my formula sheet, 2LW plus 2LH plus 2WH. Now notice back at the formula sheet that the L shows the length along the bottom, the W shows the other length along the bottom, and the H shows the height. So we can designate which one we want to be which. In a rectangular prism, it doesn't really matter because if I turn this on its side, this could be called the length instead of the height. So normally, I call the longer one along the bottom the length, so I'll call 5L. I call the shorter one, 3 is shorter than 5, the width, and then the one going from top to bottom or bottom to top, the height. So I'll label these in the picture, the L, W, and H, and now I can simply plug them into my formula. SA equals 2. Instead of L, I'm going to put 5, and I usually substitute in the number in parentheses. The W in my picture is 3, and I continue filling it into the formula. Again, the L is 5, the H is 8, 2, W, the W in my picture says 3, and the H says 8. Now all I have to do is the arithmetic of multiplying and adding, and I get that the surface area is 158. Now there's always units, well, usually units in the problem. Remember, area is square units, 2 dimensions. So if it says inches as the units, this will be inches squared. It could also be written as 158 square, abbreviated SQ, inches like that. So both of these are valid answers for the surface area of the rectangular prism. Let's take a look at another example. Approximately how much paint will be needed to cover a sphere with a radius of 30 centimeters? Now I don't see a word that tells me what type of formula, meaning where's the word area or volume or perimeter, but I do see a word like cover that means one of those. Cover means I'm finding area. So I'm going to go back to my formula sheet and look for the sphere and the area. Now I see V. V says volume. A is here, but that's SA. That's surface area. So remember, the surface area covers all the surfaces, so it's going to go all around the sphere. So I'm going to use this surface area formula. So let's go back to our problem and write down the surface area formula for the sphere. SA equals 4 pi r squared, taken straight from my formula sheet. What does r mean? Well, on the formula sheet, r is shown as the distance right here from the center to the edge of the sphere. That's called the radius. So in our problem, they said the radius is 30, so r equals 30. Let's go ahead and plug that into our formula. SA equals 4 times pi, substituting 30 for r, 30 in parentheses, and then squared. Now I'm going to go to my calculator, and when I type this in, I'm going to leave the pi out because the pi sometimes is just written next to the other numbers multiplied together because the pi is an irrational number. It's not exact if we need the value with the digits. So I'm going to type 4 times 30 squared. 3,600. But notice I didn't type the pi, so when I write my answer, the surface area is exactly 3,600 times pi. Now I look for the units, centimeters. Because this is area, and area is 2 dimensions, I'm going to write centimeters squared. Now this is an excellent answer. This answer is an exact answer. Now they asked approximately how much paint is needed to cover. Approximate means we're looking for the closest answer, which may or may not be exact. It might be that we need to estimate the answer, such as if it's multiple choice and we're just matching the closest answer. So in that case, sometimes we might be required to type the pi in to the calculator. Now if you have a graphing calculator, there's the pi button. So we can type 3,600 times, to get to the pi, it's blue, so we type the blue second button and then that exponent button, and there we get the pi symbol. Press enter, and now we have an approximate value, 11,309.7 if we round to 1 decimal place. So I could say that the surface area is approximately 11,309.7 centimeters squared. Now I'm not writing the pi because I typed it in the calculator. This is a valid answer as well. However, this answer is not exact. This would be the estimate or the approximate. I'm going to abbreviate the approximate answer for the surface area. So remember, you can use the pi button in the calculator if you don't want to write the pi for your exact answer. If you don't have a graphing calculator, remember how you can type pi as 3.14. Let's look at one more example. What is the approximate volume of a cone with a radius of 8 meters and a height of 15 meters? Notice the picture that they gave us. So again, let's go to our formula sheet, look for the cone and the formula for volume. So here it is. Let's go ahead and write that one. V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. So let's plug in the things that we know. V equals 1/3 pi. R is for the radius. The radius is 8, so r equals 8. 8 plugged in, squared. H is for the height. The height is 15, so h is 15. And now we can go to our calculator to compute. Again, I'm not going to type the pi into the calculator. I'm going to just type the fraction 1/3 times 8 squared, put 8 in parentheses like I did, and times 15. I'm going to put 15 in parentheses like I did. Notice I didn't type the pi. I got 320. So I could give the exact answer as 320 times pi meters, because the units are meters, but it's volume, and volume is 3 dimensions, so meters cubed, or cubic meters. Or I could type the pi in the calculator, 320 times pi, so that's second, the exponent button, and get 1005.3 meters cubed. So both of these, now I rounded here, so I'm going to use the squiggly equals for approximately equal to. So remember, this one is a valid answer. This is my exact answer. And then this answer is when I typed with the pi button, this is my approximate answer, or my estimate to the volume. Have fun with the formula sheet, and thanks for watching.